Hi, today I want to talk about the stopping the North Dakota pipeline, protecting native rights and the environment. We can no longer afford to ignore the damaging effects of industry and big business capitalize on the environment and on the social political sphere. Environmental concerns are growing more and more direct, and they within human rights issues as well. Questions of environmentally sustainable and human rights are coming into perspective within the controversy around the North Dakota pipeline. Protesters, mostly neg- Native Americans, participating associated with the Standing Rocks, where inhabit the area in North Dakota, are fighting a company emergent transfer partners in their construction of $3.7 million pipeline project to carry 470,000 barrels of oil from North Dakota to Ohio daily. While many big business economists view the pipeline as an economy born, native populations and environmental activities are banding together to fight the measures because of the risks it poses environmentally and its gross overload of native rights. The issue has become representative of the struggle between colonial effects to settle the Americans and the interest of native groups to maintain land and rights in American political system. The issue is constructive because it paints opportunism capitalism against responsible environmentalism and rights groups. The protests taking place are concerns. The connects of the issues makes one thing clear: a huge reform needs to be made politically, environmentally, and economically in order to create a sustainable world for future generations. And this issue is being brought to bear in the controversy around the Dakota Pipeline. The North Dakota Pipeline threatens the well-being of the Standing Rocks that inhabits this area, and the construction of the pipeline by the American government represent a centuries-old strategy between Americans and native populations. The pipeline is projected to run through native territory, and the road leakage that take place on these pipelines threaten the well-being of these communities and the burning groups in the area. An article in the New York Times by Jets Harry states members of the Standing Rocks see the pipeline as a major environmental and cultural threat. They said its route travels essence land, which are not part of the reservation, where their hunt finished and were burned. The sentencing of this land may not be respected by employees and energy share, but the traversal is hugely simple and important to populations and represent this mainstream fragment of these communities under American capitalist virtues. Issues of native interests are also closely interwrapped with concerns about the environmental. Historically, native populations have lived in a harmony with the environment, while economy and the industry have ravaged the land in order to achieve commercial gain of the pipeline. In the articles The Settle Times writes, pipeline constructions began under a piecemeal, fast-track process. No environmental impact process was never conducted, evaluating the effects of the whole project. The trade also still needs to participate in a survey of the land affected by the pipeline to donate cultural materials, including Bernice and Archbraham said the construction of the pipeline goes against the wishes of the native populations and environmentally damaging. The pipeline is an economic effort on the part of the federal government, but it does not promise sustainable financial rewards. Any project's economic success is undercut by its effectivity. In the same New York Times article, Jack Haley writes, Energy Transfer says the pipeline will pump millions of dollars into local economies through far fewer permit jobs to maintain and mention the pipeline. While the pipeline will create jobs for now, these jobs will be short-lived and will not make no longer economic impact on the area. Additionally, the pipeline itself is expensive. In an article for Wall Street Journal, said the company plans to meet with admissions office and complete the pipeline. He said the company worked to meet with the standing routes trade multiple times over the past 2 years, and then $1.6 billion has already been spent on the project. From the project that promises only temporary economic stationing, it certainly costs a great deal of money, even though their project benefits economy of the pipeline. These benefits are temporary and outweigh the gains. The case also raised many relevant concerns about the future of native populations and protections under the law. Native populations feel as though they do not bear any influences on the laws and economy individuals directly affecting their populations and communities. Instead, policy around such hugely influential transmission measures such as pipeline are approved casually and without any words from the tribes who would charge these costs. The Wall Street Journal report, in this case, the Standing Robs has said the Army groups of engineers didn't accept consequences with the check about the pipelines on traditional land, including those now owned privately, which make up 99% of its rule. The lack of communication with local tribes is one of the more engaged elements of the pipeline. The native populations are grossly underrepresented in many political and economic decisions, but they are also protected by certain laws, which made a significant allowance for environmental groups. An article in the Washington Post by Nicholas Dollar and said Native Americans national are an especially attract alien to environment groups because they only have treaty rights over land and water and use the US government is obeyed to take account of. In spirit of the absence the native populations face at the hand of the American government and the hands of companies like energy shares, certain trips built into the legal system to protect native rights can help them in their fight against the pipeline, and it's perhaps what has drawn so many donations to protest the pipeline's constructions. The analysis of native interested groups and environmental groups has held the movement build minimum in need. Native Americans' rights and interests are entwined with problems of environmental sustainability. Those who oppose of the pipeline said it's good for the economy and it's much faster, safer than project by environmental activities. The articles in the New York Times look at the case made by pro-pipeline groups, energy companies and their overseer, the pipeline and Horizon Materials Safety Admissions, promote the safety record of pipelines. The pipelines companies say it's far safer to move oil and natural gas in underground pipe than in rail cars or trucks, which can crash and create huge fires. The problem with this information is false. Legitimate and accidents are common and perhaps with pipelines. The article concludes with the facts in a 2012 examinations of pipeline safety. ProPublica report that more than half of the country's pipeline were at least 50 years old. Cripps cite again pipelines and Scanvero as factors and put political health and the environment at risk. The pipeline represents a huge construction issue facing American political, economic, and environmental policy today. The protests take place from in a very real concern and angle about policy making. While the expensive pipelines create economic opportunities in the short term, it is not a sustainable money maker, and additionally, it's on native land and traditional, threatening the environmental well-being of these areas, and it's not taking into account long-term effects. Really to reconsider how policy around energy gets passed on a structural and systemic level, respect the environment and the tribal communities in the United States, and prevent. And this is my presentation. Thank you.